consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
Coming up on Real Talk.
Relationship. I mean, you want the relationship, but you don't want the abuse. You want him to stop beating your behind. So you think you can stay in there long enough for him to stop doing this stuff to you. So that's why you stay in there. Well, maybe so. Maybe one day if you ain't dead and they realize what they doing, and if they care enough, it takes two people working on themselves. If you have an abuser and you have a victim, well, the abuser has to turn into somebody that wants to do something to stop it. He want that relationship, you want the relationship, but the behavior here is not acceptable. Well, the only person that can stop that behavior is the person that's perpetrating the behavior. They need to go get some help, and you need to go get some help to see that you're worth more than that. And it's not saying that you don't want the relationship. Yes, you want the relationship.
But you want it
yes,
to work
but you
out.
don't want to keep getting your behind beat.
And it's not just
With consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. You could receive it as long as you can perceive it.
Welcome to our show, Real Talk. I'm Amina, your host. The views expressed on this show are strictly ours. Take what you need and leave the rest. Take what you like and leave the rest. Amina is on the panel today. Our subject today is domestic violence, which we all know is a global situation, and it affects children and adults. Why do you think domestic violence, why do you think that people stay in an abusive relationship?
I think a lot of people stay in abusive relationships because it's a cycle. You know, I believe it's a cycle with, it happened to their parents, it happened to the grandparents, it happened to the, it's just something that's always there, reason why some people stay in it. Another reason why some people stay in it is for their children, if they have children. Some people stay in an abusive relationship because they think they deserve that. Or I did look at him, if it's jealous, if the man is jealous, if the woman is jealous, or I didn't do anything wrong, but maybe I did, so it's like different things of, okay, I didn't do anything wrong, but, so maybe I did. Maybe I did, maybe I did.
Look at it.
Yeah, I did look at him. So, it's just different ways of, that's all they know, so they love that person. I love him so much. I love her so much. I love that individual so much that I think I deserve to be done like that.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think too it depends on how you came up, because domestic violence is such a horrible thing that it affects the child in the mother's stomach. If the mother was pregnant during the time of the abuse going on with her, then the child that she's carrying is going to come out with trust issues. So domestic violence is a horrible thing. It affects children. And then some people say, well, it don't affect kids because they don't know anything.
They too little to know.
They too little to know. Yeah, but why do they stay in it? Because sometimes they can't even see what's going on. And then once they see what's going on, then they take charge and handle whatever it needs to do to be handled. They stay in it because, like you said, they think they love this person. Then they have this love-hate syndrome too, where if you're not beating my behind, you don't care about me, and we gonna make it up in the bed, that type of thing. Like you said, it's many reasons why people stay in relationships that's abusive for them. But
Would you say that it's like a vicious cycle, really?
Yeah, it's a cycle.
It's a cycle of not self-love.
No
Maybe
love.
they don't feel that they loved, you know.
And they think the person that's beating them loves them, so they think that's how they
You
get
show
the
me
love.
the affection. You show me affection that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how I can tell that you really care about me. You know, if you do something like that, which is a missed signal.
Yeah, it's a myth.
Yeah.
It's a myth that you care about. And then another thing is a myth is that you, the person is drunk. That's why he's doing it, because he's drunk. If he wasn't drinking, he wouldn't be doing it.
If he wasn't on drugs,
He wouldn't be doing it.
yeah, he wouldn't do that. He's the sweetest person, the caring person ever, until he's on drugs.
Yeah.
So it's basically with that too. It comes to substance abuse.
Substance abuse.
Yeah, substance abuse. You know, it's like
That's a part of it.
yeah,
Yeah, that
lot.
plays a big part in it. The alcohol and the drugs, that plays a big part in the violence. But even with that playing a big part in it, the person that's doing it needs to take control. Threatening them, by isolating them. You know, you have all of these different mechanisms that you use to control this person that's in this relationship with you. And this person coming from an abusive situation herself, maybe her mom was abused. So when she came out, naturally, she had trust issues and she wasn't feeling too safe, but she, depending on what was going on in her life with her family, if she's seeing all of this going on all the time, it's normal. So it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's you can beat me, because my daddy used to beat my mama. That's what we do. So you just think it's normal.
And then too, at the same time, men too. You know, women abuse men also.
Yes.
So you know, some men might think that, you know, it's different scenarios on that too. So it goes back to saying for a man.
Yeah, exactly, because I believe that there's more than one way to be abusive. You can be abusive emotionally, playing with people's minds, playing with their feelings. You can be abusive physically, hitting them.
Physically.
But to me, the worst abuse is the emotional abuse, where people play with your feelings, make you feel less than, and cause you to have trust issues. A lot of times, men do that to women.
Yeah.
They play that game about making them feel less than. But it all goes back to taking responsibility for yourself. You can be in an abusive relationship. If you're in an abusive relationship, you need to get some help, really, basically.
Yes.
And you cannot stop this man or this woman from doing what they do.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. And it's nothing that you as an individual can do about that, except try to get some help.
Yeah.
You know, it's just really sad to me for this situation, because it's such a important, it's such a global thing.
Oh, global. Yes.
It's such a vicious cycle. If the cycle is not broke, it will continue. And it's continuing. You know, people don't want to accept the fact that it's continuing. It's just sad. It's sad. It's really sad.
It is.
It's in some of the ways that you can help yourself is to understand what it is that's going on.
Acknowledge it. Acknowledge what's going on too. Once you acknowledge what's going on, then you can actually see and try to get help for you and that person. Counseling, you know, speak to a relative that you trust, or you know, but no. I take that back. A relative that you trust. I think it has to go above that.
It does.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
It has to go above a trusted relatives. You need to go to professionals that deal with this type of thing, because if you don't deal with it, go get some professional help, you're going to end up in the court system having to go to deal with it. And then you will see how vicious it is. It's such a vicious, ugly thing. Domestic violence is.
Yeah.
It's so vicious and so ugly, and it has so many aspects till it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
You know? And it's sad. It's so sad for the children, the effect of it. For it, say, like, what effect does it have on the children? If a child is brought up seeing this type of thing all his life, what type of effect does that have on the child?
I think it has a lot of has to do on a child. Maybe they start doing the same thing to their individual who they're dating or who they're with. Even some of them take it out on pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So it's a psychological thing that it's not just has to do with just an individual. It goes to pets too.
Yeah.
So wow, it's something. It really is.
It's really something horrible. This cycle of domestic violence. It's really, and you know, it's just really. I keep saying it's just really horrible, and the effect that it has on the children is that they usually do the same thing because you live
By example.
Yeah,
See
you
what you do.
live what you see, not what somebody's telling you, but what you up in.
Yeah.
That's what you gonna do. If you seeing me get my behind whooped all the time, more than that, you gonna be whooping on somebody's behind yourself, unless you get some help for yourself, unless that cycle is broke, unless somebody else got some type of help and start doing something different to teach you something different. And then even so, when you trying to teach somebody something different, it depends on how long they was in this madness in the first place, because it's not going to work overnight.
Yes.
They still going to be doing that, playing out them same tapes that they had until those new tapes can get in there so that they can play on those.
Yes.
So it's something that takes a long time. You got to be patient with yourself and patient with the people patient with yourself, because you're the one that's trying to get help for yourself.
Yes.
You're the one that's in it and don't want to be in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you want the relationship, but you don't want the abuse. You want him to stop beating your behind. So you think you can stay in there long enough for him to stop doing this stuff to you, so that's why you stay in there. Well, maybe so. Maybe one day if you ain't dead and they realize what they doing, and if they care enough, it takes two people working on themselves. If you have an abuser and you have a victim, well, the abuser has to turn into somebody that wants to do something to stop it. He want that relationship, you want the relationship, but the behavior here is not acceptable. Well, the only person that can stop that behavior is the person that's perpetrating the behavior. They need to go get some help. And you need to go get some help to see that you're worth more than that. And it's not saying that you don't want the relationship. Yes, you want the relationship.
But you want it to work
but
out.
you don't want to keep getting your behind beat.
And it's not just too at the same time the
The
emotional. The emotional
talk down
talk,
on, talk down to,
all
told
the
you
time.
not nothing, you ain't gonna never be nothing.
The talk.
Yeah.
The talk actually in itself is, well, I can't say it's actually more hurt of.
I think it is.
I think a lick hurts more than actual talking down to or physically. That's just my opinion. You know, I just think that because it's always a physical hit will actually hurt more than that with some people. You know, so that's just my opinion. You know, with the physical. Emotional, emotional.
See, emotionalism is played down very low because you can get over a lick. That scar will heal. But that emotional damage that's been done to you, you've been talked down so long that your self-esteem is way down on the ground.
Yeah, that's true.
And it takes years to build that back up. It takes years of you working on yourself to build yourself back up. So to me, the emotional abuse is worse than the physical abuse. The psychological, all that mind stuff is worse than a physical thing, I believe. Because you can get over lick, it'll heal. It'll heal. You all right.
Yeah,
you know?
it'll heal. It will heal. But at the same time, I'm the type of person is, don't hit me. You know, I can probably deal with, far as in you talking, it depends on how my self-esteem is. It depends on if I got low self-esteem or not, of you talking physically down to me, and then a lick
But it's designed, the whole domestic violence situation is designed to make you feel bad, make you feel like responsible for this person that's abusing you. You caused this to happen to yourself. But you didn't. It was not your fault. It's this person has a problem that he needs to work on and take responsibility for doing what he's doing, or doing what they doing, or doing what she's doing. You need to take responsibility, because it's never the victim's fault. And that's the myth. That's a big myth that they have. That is if you hadn't looked at me like that, I wouldn't have did this. Well, what the heck my look got to do with anything? It's you. You just wanted to do that because of who you are. You know, your problem that you have. You know? It's just awful. It's just awful. And we need to get educated, learn about ourselves, feel worthy that we are worthy of the best, because we are. We are. We
love yourself. Want better for yourself.
Man or woman. You're not supposed to be abused. You're not supposed to be made to feel like you ain't nothing, like you dirt walking on this earth. And then too, the society teaches men to be violent. It teaches men to do that. You see it on TV every day. When you're looking at TV, you know, a man, he's supposed to be the big tough guy.
And women too. Women too. Women think that they have to go to the thing is, this was way past then. The man is the macho one. I'm the macho one. You know, women think women do the same thing as the men do. They want to, that was a long time ago, the men. Now it's the women. The woman is powerful, and I'm not going to take that from any man or whatever and do the same thing to them.
Yeah, they do. But society don't teach women to be like that. Society teaches men to be like that. And if you get into a program, if the court sends you to a program, you will find out that you was taught to hate women, to make them feel less than what they are. That's what you was taught to do. And you know, but that's neither here nor there. I used to be in my mama's stomach too. But I'm out now, I can't go back in there. I need to take responsibility for my actions. I see what I'm doing, and it's not acceptable to beat nobody, to try to control them. It's not acceptable. Ain't nobody having it today. You're gonna be in the pen somewhere. Or what you giving out, you might get, you know? It's just not acceptable. Gonna give some solutions here to this domestic violence situation, some things that we can do to help us overcome the situation.
Instead of intimidation, Amina, what should one another do?
Instead of intimidating, we should have nonviolent behavior, talking and acting so that there's safety and you feel comfortable expressing yourself.
Instead of verbal attacks, what should one another do?
We should have respect. We should listen to each other without judgment. We should be able to be emotionally understood and have our values and opinions understood.
Instead of isolation, Amina, what should we do?
We should have trust and support. The trust and support of our goals. You know, we support each other in whatever it is that's been going on.
Instead of denying and blaming.
Instead of denying and blaming, we should have honesty, accepting the responsibility for ourselves, acknowledging that each other.
Instead of using loved ones, what should they do?
Instead of using the kids, you should be a responsible parenting. You should have responsible parenting, sharing parenting. Being responsible and being positive with nonviolence in it. Being a model for the kids.
Instead of making all the big decisions, what should they do?
It should be a shared responsibility in that, mutually agreeing with what's going on. You have a voice in it. You make part of the decisions also.
Yeah. Instead of refusing to allow her to work or handle any financial.
Instead of being economically controlling, you can have an economical partnership where both of you guys share in the decisions of what's going on with the money. Instead of you being the big hand, or one person being the big hand, we share in this. We both have something to say about what's going on with it.
Yeah.
And that last one about the threats, fairness. Have fairness. Seek mutual satisfaction in resolving these conflicts. Be fair in your dealings with each other. Accepting the change and being willing to compromise. Don't always want to be right. Compromise.
Yeah.
And that way we get educated on what we need to do for ourselves. And when you know better, baby, you do better. See you next week.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Knowledge is a weapon. Knowledge is a weapon to the aggression, the oppression, the depression. Knowledge is the weapon. Knowledge is a weapon. Baby, you a fun.